Sheriffs and Sheriffs. May 18, 2020 by Anna von Reitz. I had a friend years ago, a guy from New York I came to love. Larry was the grandfather I never had. He took a lively interest in all kinds of sports, including horse racing, things that were never my cup of tea, but, because of Larry, I wound up sitting in a bar one afternoon in May, perched on the edge of my seat, watching the Kentucky Derby on widescreen TV. When the race was over, he turned me, face flushed with exhilaration, and he said, "There's racehorses, and then, there's racehorses." I looked confused and he stopped and offered further explanation, "There's dolls, and then, there's Marilyn Monroe." Right. Okay. I got the concept. I want you all to apply that concept to sheriffs. There's sheriffs, and then, there's sheriffs. Back in the mid-60s, after the Kennedy murder, a system of federal government corporate kickbacks was instituted under the guise of federal block grants. In order to receive these grants, your town or county had to incorporate itself. In this process of enfranchisement, thousands of small towns and counties across America surrendered their unincorporated status and became cogs in the federal system. Most of them at the time never knew and were never told that they were giving up anything special, but they were. Those federal block grants were coming at an undisclosed cost, because those county government organizations were giving up their sovereignty in the bargain. They ceased to function as actual counties and could no longer function as legitimate units of the land and soil jurisdiction government. Why? Because they accepted charters issued by a foreign government. As they voluntarily incorporated their operations, they became subject to federal regulation and domination as franchises, just like Dairy Queen franchises. Naturally, all their offices were similarly converted into corporate offices, including the office of county sheriff. Our common law sheriffs, the highest elected peacekeeping officials in this country, were unlawfully converted into Pinkertons, private law enforcement officers working for Da Man. So, there's sheriffs, and then, there's sheriffs. Into this horrific and virtually silent coup stepped two men, Mack and Prinz. They took the USA, Inc. all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. And they won back part of American soul. According to that decision, Mack and Prinz versus USA, Inc., even Leo sheriffs can enforce the constitutions, at their discretion. That sets up two more classes of sheriff among the Leos, those who defend and support the Constitution, and those who, at their discretion, don't. Glory be and thanks for Sheriff Richard Mack and the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association. It's time for the rest of us to wise up about the way in which our counties were hijacked, and our public offices demeaned and unlawfully converted into private corporate offices. It's time that upholding the constitutional guarantees of Americans became something more than a discretionary duty. Our properly constituted state assemblies are now in session, and as more Americans realize what has gone on here, they will come forward by the millions to restore our lawful unincorporated counties, and our common law sheriffs will once again function as the highest peacekeeping officials in this country. And they will all know that it is their duty to enforce the constitutional guarantees owed to the people of this country, no questions asked, and nothing discretionary about it. If your sheriff is a member of the Constitutional Sheriffs and Peace Officers Association, please reach out to him and let him know the cavalry is coming. The American states and people are on the move to take back their country and restore their common law sheriffs to full operation and authority. And if the corporations don't like it, they can be liquidated for fraud and bribery and racketeering, and their leaders can be charged with treason. To further everyone's understanding of the actual office of the county sheriff, I am reposting a paper from the NLA on this topic. It provides the basis in law and history for the common law sheriff's unique office, once we organize our actual unincorporated counties and elect one. FB readers will have to go to my website, www.annavonreitz.com, to see the paper I am referring to. www.annavonreitz.com/countysheriffbewhatauthority.pdf. I can somehow see Sheriff Richard Mack retiring from his Leo office and entering into the office of the county sheriff, an office he has upheld through thick and thin, and which he richly deserves. It's not only necessary to know and say, but to do. By summoning the states of the Union to assemble, and by properly constituting each state assembly with officially declared American state citizens, we have overcome the legal obstacles cast in our way. Under both public and international law, we now have the means to directly restore our counties and our sheriffs as well as our states. We can look forward to the day when there is just one county sheriff, a common law county sheriff, holding and abiding in the office that is owed to the states and the people of these United States. We will no longer have to say, well, Larry, there's sheriffs, and then, there's sheriffs. Links to Anna's articles and resources can be found in the video description box.